the Bard of Avon, a timeless storyteller. William Shakespeare. His name echoes through the corridors of time, a symbol of literary brilliance and unmatched creativity. Just hearing his name might make you think of fancy words and old-fashioned clothes. But there's so much more to Shakespeare than just his iconic image. But did you know he's one of the most important storytellers of all time? His works have transcended generations, influencing countless writers, poets, and playwrights. His plays and poems have entertained and amazed people for over 400 years. From the grand stages of London to classrooms around the world, his stories continue to captivate audiences. Let's journey back in time and learn about this incredible writer. Imagine walking the cobblestone streets of Elizabethan England, where Shakespeare's imagination brought to life tales of love, betrayal, and heroism.
My stories are full of adventure, romance, and drama. Each character I created has a unique voice and a story that resonates with the human experience. I wrote about kings and queens, fairies and villains, and everything in between. My worlds are filled with magic, intrigue, and the complexities of human nature. My words have a magical way of making people laugh, cry, and think about the world in new ways. They challenge perceptions and evoke deep emotions, making each reading or performance a unique experience.
Even though he lived a long time ago, his insights into the human condition remain relevant. His ability to capture the essence of life, love, and tragedy is unparalleled. His stories still feel fresh and exciting today. They continue to inspire new generations, proving that great storytelling is timeless. That's the mark of a true genius. Shakespeare's legacy is a testament to the power of words and the enduring impact of a master storyteller. Growing up in Stratford-upon-Avon, imagine a small town in England with cobblestone streets and houses made of wood and stone. The air is filled with the scent of fresh bread from the local bakery, and the sound of horse-drawn carriages echoes through the narrow lanes. This quaint town is a place where everyone knows each other, and life moves at a slower, more deliberate pace. This is Stratford-upon-Avon, where William Shakespeare was born in 1564. The town, nestled along the River Avon, was a bustling market town during the Elizabethan era. It was a place where merchants, craftsmen, and farmers came together to trade goods and share stories. Life was much different back then. People relied on the land and their trades to make a living. The community was tight-knit, and everyone played a role in the town's daily life. Children would help their parents with chores, and families would gather around the hearth in the evenings to share tales and news.
Young William probably went to the local grammar school where he learned Latin and Greek. The school was a small, dimly lit room with wooden benches and a strict schoolmaster. Education was rigorous, and students were expected to memorize and recite classical texts. This early education would later influence Shakespeare's writing, providing him with a rich foundation of knowledge and language. We don't know much about his childhood, but we can imagine him exploring the nearby forests and rivers, dreaming up stories that would one day captivate the world. The natural beauty of the countryside, with its rolling hills and meandering streams, would have been a perfect playground for a young, imaginative mind. Perhaps he watched the changing seasons and the wildlife, finding inspiration in the world around him.
At 18, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway. Their wedding would have been a simple yet joyous occasion, celebrated with family and friends. The couple likely exchanged vows in a small local church surrounded by the people they loved. They had 3 children together. Their home would have been filled with the sounds of laughter and the hustle and bustle of daily life. Raising a family in Elizabethan England came with its challenges, but it also brought moments of joy and togetherness. Life wasn't always easy for a young family in those days, but Shakespeare's talent for writing soon took him to London, the bustling heart of England. There he would find the opportunities and audience that would allow his genius to flourish. The journey from Stratford-upon-Avon to London marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life, one that would leave an indelible mark on the world of literature. The magic of Shakespeare's plays. London was a city full of life and excitement. Theatres were popping up all over, and Shakespeare quickly made a name for himself as a playwright and actor.
I wrote comedies that made people roar with laughter, like A Midsummer Night's Dream with its mischievous fairies and hilarious mix-ups. I wrote tragedies that made audiences weep, like Romeo and Juliet. the timeless story of two young lovers from feuding families. And who could forget the thrilling drama of Hamlet, where a prince grapples with betrayal, revenge, and his own mortality.
These plays and many more cemented Shakespeare's place as a literary superstar of his time. Hidden chapters in Shakespeare's life. While we know a lot about his plays, Shakespeare's personal life remains a bit of a mystery. Despite being one of the most famous writers in history, much of his life is shrouded in obscurity. We have records of his baptism, marriage, and death, but the details in between are often speculative. There are gaps in the historical records, leaving us to wonder about the man behind the masterpieces. These gaps have led to numerous theories and debates among historians and literary scholars. Some suggest he traveled extensively, while others believe he may have worked in various professions before finding his calling as a playwright.
For example, we don't know exactly when he began writing or what inspired some of his most famous characters. Was it personal experiences or stories he heard during his travels? The lack of concrete information leaves much to the imagination. Some scholars even debate whether Shakespeare wrote all the plays attributed to him. The authorship question has been a topic of heated discussion for centuries. Various candidates, including Christopher Marlowe and Francis Bacon, have been proposed as the true authors of his works. These unanswered questions add to the intrigue surrounding his life. The mystery only deepens our fascination with Shakespeare, making him not just a literary giant, but also an enigmatic figure whose life story is as compelling as his plays.
What we do know is that Shakespeare was a shrewd businessman. He was not just a playwright and poet, but also a savvy entrepreneur who understood the value of his work. He co-owned the Globe Theatre and became quite wealthy from his plays. This ownership not only provided him with financial stability, but also allowed him to have a significant influence on the theatrical world of his time. This allowed him to provide a comfortable life for his family back in Stratford. His success enabled him to purchase one of the largest houses in Stratford-upon-Avon, known as New Place, where he spent his later years. Despite the mysteries, what remains clear is Shakespeare's enduring legacy. His works continue to captivate audiences around the world, and the enigmatic aspects of his life only add to the timeless allure of his genius. Shakespeare's impact on literature and storytelling is, well, immeasurable.
He introduced over 1,700 words to the English language, many of which we still use today, like eyeball and fashionable.
His characters, from the tragic hero Hamlet to the ambitious Lady Macbeth, are timeless archetypes that continue to resonate with audiences.
He explored universal themes of love, loss, ambition, and justice that are still relevant centuries later.
Shakespeare's influence can be seen in countless books, movies, TV shows, and even video games.
His stories have been retold and reimagined in countless ways, proving their enduring power to captivate and inspire.
Shakespeare's words on the silver screen. Speaking of movies, did you know that many modern films have been inspired by Shakespeare's plays? Directors love to reimagine his stories for the big screen. The Lion King is actually a retelling of Hamlet, with Simba facing the betrayal of his uncle Scar. And the classic romantic comedy She's the Man is based on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, full of mistaken identities and hilarious situations. Shakespeare's stories work so well in movies because they're full of emotion and drama. Even though they were written hundreds of years ago, they still speak to us on a human level. Beyond the stage, Shakespeare's enduring influence. Shakespeare's influence extends far beyond the world of theatre and film. His words have found their way into our everyday language, our music, and even our legal system. Quotes like "to be or not to be" and "all the world's a stage" are instantly recognizable and often used to express complex emotions and ideas. His works have inspired countless composers, painters, and sculptors who find endless inspiration in his timeless themes and characters. Even lawyers and judges still cite Shakespeare in courtrooms today, using his words to illustrate points about justice, morality, and the human condition. Why Shakespeare still matters today? You might be wondering, why should we care about a writer who lived so long ago? Well, Shakespeare's stories are still relevant today because they explore timeless themes that we all experienced: love, loss, jealousy, ambition, and the struggle between good and evil. His characters feel real, even though they lived in a different time. We can relate to their joys, their sorrows, and their struggles. Shakespeare helps us understand ourselves and the world around us a little bit better. His plays also teach us about history and culture. They give us a glimpse into what life was like in Elizabethan England. We learn about their customs, beliefs, and values.
The immortal bard. William Shakespeare may have died in 1616, but his legacy lives on. His stories continue to entertain, inspire, and challenge audiences worldwide.
He is considered a literary genius, a master of language, and a keen observer of human nature. His works have transcended time and language barriers to become a shared cultural heritage for all humankind.
So the next time you hear Shakespeare's name, remember that he's not just some old writer from a textbook. He's a storyteller for all ages, and his words still have the power to amaze us, centuries later.